Hi, girls. I guess I should say welcome back. I know I did a reading this morning, but it's been a little while. So I figured I've got some time this evening, so I would knock out a couple different chapters. And we're going to go a little bit different today. So I hope you're as cozy as I am. I have not been able to get warm all day, so I've got my cozy sweater on and I've got Leona on my lap. Do you want to say hi? Say hello. Yep, she's a nice cozy blanket. I got my candle burning and warm cup of coffee next to me. So let's go ahead and get started. So for this, I'm taking a break from all the other books we're reading, and I'm going to read something out of Bible stories for children. So you don't attend church when you're with your dad, and I can't control that. But what I can do is read some of the more exciting stories out of the Bible. I mean, they've got some really good ones. You've heard of miracles, right? Like things that you can't explain or don't make sense could only be done through the power of God. Well, I've picked out a couple and I think you're going to like them. I know I'm not Miss Kim. I mean, I can't be as cool as Miss Kim, but I can do my best. So bear with me, okay? So, have you heard of a guy named David? No, maybe once or twice. Okay, so David was a really important king back in the day. And he was definitely one of God's favorites. So there's lots of really exciting stories about him, and God definitely did some really cool miracles that you maybe have not heard about. So I thought I would take the opportunity to maybe introduce you to David. He is kind of like any other character you like in books. He's just a character in the Bible. So this is written for kids. So I have not read through it. I just got it today. So I hope it's as exciting as I think it's going to be. Okay, here we go. This is called David and his Harp. And do you know what a harp is? No, Harper, I'm not referring to you. Harp is a musical instrument, and it's played. It's kind of big and kind of a bowed shape on one side, and it's got strings through the middle. And as you pluck it, it makes sounds, really high, kind of higher pitch, very pretty, very melodic sounds. But it's similar to a guitar. You know, when you pluck a guitar string, how it makes a sound, and each one of them is different. Well, same thing with a harp. So that was a popular musical instrument back in the day. Okay, so this is David and his harp. And do not weep for Saul anymore, God said to Samuel. Go to Bethlehem. We've heard of Bethlehem, right? It's where Jesus was born. For there I have chosen a new king of Israel. And Israel's like a country, so kind of like the United States, but it's on the other side of the world. One of the sons, I have chosen a king of Israel, one of the sons of a man named Jesse. So Samuel went to Bethlehem and gathered all the people to make a great sacrifice. Jesse came and brought all of his sons to meet Samuel. Samuel studied each boy very carefully. They were all tall and strong and handsome. Still, the Lord had told Samuel not to judge men by how they looked, but what was in their hearts. And Samuel could tell none of those boys was the new king. Do you have any other sons? Asked Samuel. Yes, Jesse answered. My youngest son, David, is watching the sheep. Send for him, said Samuel. When David came in from the fields, God said to Samuel, This is the king I have chosen. Give him my blessing. I think that's my God voice. Maybe a little too high pitched for God, but it's the best I can do. David was handsome and strong, and his trust in God shone in his eyes. As David stood among his brothers, Samuel poured holy oil on David's head to show David that God had chosen him to be king one day. Not yet, but one day. At that moment, David felt the Spirit of God fill his heart, and it stayed with him all of his life. But when God turned away from Saul, an evil spirit filled the king. Even on the brightest days, Saul would fall into a bad temper, sometimes no reason at all. He would sit and stare, and nothing anyone did pleased him. One day, Saul's servants came to him. Perhaps, my lord, if we found someone who played a harp and sings sweetly, they suggested, it would make you feel better and chase the evil spirit away. Send me a man who can do that, answered Saul. I hear that a man named Jesse has a son who plays the harp and sings beautifully, said one of the servants. His name is David, and he is handsome and a brave boy who is careful to do everything the right way. So David came to Saul, and Saul loved him. Let your son David stay with me, Saul said to Jesse, his dad, for I want him near me to help me. Saul gave David the job of carrying his armor, and David lived in Saul's house. Whenever Saul felt a dark mood coming over him, he would ask David to play his harp, and the evil spirit would disappear. David sang many songs called psalms. And so psalms is like kind of like a poem written to music. Not quite like we think of today, or maybe hymns that we sing in church, but along the same lines. They were praises to God. Okay, so David sang many songs called psalms, and we still sing them today. In fact, there's a book in the Bible called Psalms, and a lot of them are written by David. This is the psalm for which we remember David the most. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. And you anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So that's the end of that chapter, and that's really just kind of the beginning of David. Next, I'm going to read David and Goliath, and this is, well, David's famous for a lot of things, but you will hear throughout your life, your entire life, that this particular battle, and it takes place on a battlefield. It's epic. Is probably one of his more famous moments in time. So I'm going to hit stop now, and then I'm going to hit record, and then you get to hear about David and Goliath. Love you.